Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity, y'all, to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market, right? But let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX. Let's say that, right? So the VIX is today's going to be an interesting day. We do have Fed Powell speaking at 12 o'clock today, so that can move the market in the upside, to the upside or to the downside. But either way, be ready and trade carefully, right? So expect a lot of volatility, let's say that. So right now we again looking at the VIX, and support is right here at 1277. Pre-market support resistance was here at 1281. We have broken above that, and right now the 1281 is our support, right? So if we break this 1281 area, where I always say, where are my trouble places? And when I had this mark, we broke out of that. So now what was resistance is now our support. So I'm going to make another resistance line. As of now, I would say pre-market resistance is around the 1285 area for the VIX. And normally I say when the VIX is up, the SPY is down, and vice versa. But anything is possible today. Let me say that. So right now, our pre-market support is at 1285. If we come back under the 1285, we can find support at 1281 and again at 1277. So those are trouble places for the VIX. To the downside, if we break the 1277, 1275, or the 1272, which is right at, kind of brings us close to the 20 EMA at 1269. So those are going to be trouble places to the downside, which will be our support for the VIX. So to the upside, we will have trouble at 1291, again at 1295, and this high here of 1298, right? So those are kind of close together. And the VIX does, it normally doesn't move. Let's see, about 71 cents per day. So that's why those areas are kind of close to each other, because it really doesn't move but about 71 cents normally, let's say that on an average on a daily basis. So right now we are still right there at that support of 1285. Let's go look at the SPY just to see where we are. So the SPY closed at 559.99, right? And it looks as if we are having trouble at this ATR trailing stop here on this 30-minute chart. That's something to be mindful of, right? Because this here was a previous resistance area or support area for us at 562.56. So we've come up, got rejected at this candle here. Are we going to come back down, bounce from here, and move higher? That's something to be mindful of, right? So right now our pre-market support was here at 561.82 and resistance at 562.06, and that is for the SPY. We have been moving in this area, as you can see here, right? We did close under the 5 EMA, but because we bounced here at the 561.49, which we knew that it could, you see that gray shaded area, it came down, found support. Is it going to take us back to the upside, right? So that's something to watch today if you trade the SPY. And I always say, y'all, trade carefully. Trade carefully. I can't say that enough. Today is going to be interesting, right? So where are our trouble places for the SPY? So it looks like we got rejected on this candle here, which is the high of this candle is 562.51. So I'm going to set an alert above this area. If we break above this area, then we probably can continue to the upside, right? So it looks as if above this 562.61 area, my alert is set at 562.64. We're going to have trouble here at 562.91, and again here at 563.17 and 563.50. Those are going to be trouble places to the upside for the SPY. Now to the downside, as you can see, we have already broke through this area of support of the 561.49 and the 561.28. It came down to this and bounced, so which is really close to this 20 EMA at 561.42. So beyond or below the 561.42 area, we could come back and retest the 561.28, and again at 560.89, which brings us kind of close below that to the ATR, to the 50 EMA at, let's see, 560.59. So our trouble places to the downside for the SPY under this 20 EMA, 561.42. It's going to be at 561.28, 560.89, and 560.59. Those are trouble places for support and resistance for the SPY. And we'll come back to that. And yeah, we'll do a recap on the SPY. So Tesla is Tesla closed at 248. 248.23, and we have definitely gapped up to this morning. So our support and resistance, as you can see, we had this 259.81 area marked and this 258.22. Tesla was trading in this zone, so it looks like we're finding support here, which is right at the 5 EMA at this 258.22 area. Just keep in mind we have gapped up, so it's going to have a gap to the downside that need to be filled, right? So where are our trouble places for Tesla? We are finding support right here at this 5 EMA. So are we going to bounce and try to go back to the upside? Let's see, right? So 258.81 is going to be a trouble place for us, and 262.70, 263.60, 264.58. That was 264.58. So we know that 262.70, 263.60, 264.58, and 265.66. And again at 266.54. Those are going to be trouble places to the upside for Tesla. Now, if we lose the support where we are now under the 5 EMA, we could very well come back to this area of 256.31, right? Under this 258.22, we can come back to 256.51. Under that, we can come all the way back down to 254.39. Under 254.39, we can come back to 252.14, which brings us kind of close to the ATR trailing stop and the 50 EMA, which is right here at 251.22. So those are places to the upside and to the downside that I would watch Tesla. Tesla normally moves on average about $10.49 per day, and again, that could be in either direction. So as of now, it looks like it's breaking down from, it must have gotten some news and just, that's what caused the gap up. But it's interesting that, even though it gapped up, it came all the way up to this area where we knew we would have trouble. So that's why it's important to mark those areas that, this is where the candle stopped, or this is where it started, or when it dropped, this is what prevented it from moving further down. So that's always important. And y'all, ultimately, to sum it up, it's just support and resistance, right? I always say trading is just support and resistance. So with Tesla, we do have trouble places to the upside and to the downside, so it could move in either direction. So let's go to NVIDIA. It is an inside day candle, right? So I'll give the triggers for that first. If it breaks above 131.92, then the target to the upside is 136.15. If it breaks under 127.22, then the target to the downside is here at 127.05. And it too has been trading in a gathering spot, right? So the pre-market support I have marked at 129.88. Resistance I have marked at 130.33. And we have broken through that. You see this line here, only to find trouble in this area here, right? We knew that 131.18 was going to be a trouble place for us. So if I would set an alert above the 131.37. If we break above that, we could very well, continue to the upside. It looks like it wants to move to the upside. So that 131.92 is definitely something that I would be watching for in the video to the upside. Now, let's look, to the downside. Where are our trouble places? If we break under the 129.88 area, just know that we could very well come back and find support at 129.70 and again at 129.57. Under 129.57, 129.20 is going to be a trouble place for us. Under that 129.20, the 129.01. Now, if by chance we break the 129.01, we could very well come back to 128.66. So those are going to be trouble places for NVIDIA to the upside and to the downside. So if I traded NVIDIA today, y'all know I always say trade carefully, right? So let's go look at AMD. And as you can see, AMD has just been trading in this area here. I did mark the, the purple shaded lines as I normally do on this 30-minute chart because we're still in that zone of previous support and or resistance, right? So right now the 183.24 is our pre-market support. Our pre-market resistance was at the 184.02, but it looks like we have broken through that area and it's trying to move, looks like, to the upside. So where are our trouble places for AMD? If it breaks above this 184.23, which it looks like it's trying to, we're going to have trouble at 184.96. Above 184.96, we're going to have trouble at 185.26. Above the 185.26, we could very well have trouble at 185.68. And above the 185.68, just know that we could have trouble at 186.27. And beyond the 186.27, there could be trouble at 186.71. So those are places to the upside for AMD that I would definitely watch as trouble places. Right now, if by chance we should come back to the downside again, anything is possible in the market. Nothing is guaranteed. I need to say that again. Anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. So if we break under the 183.24 area, just know that we could very well come back and find support at 182.85. Under 182.85, we can come back to the 182.03, which brings us really close to this previous support area of 181.74. Under 181.74 is forming an ATR trailing stop here at 181.52. So that 181.74, 181.52 area is an area that I would definitely watch for AMD. And if by chance we break that area, we could very well come back to 181.14 area. So I would say trade carefully today to the upside or to the downside for AMD. Let's see, did I mention the upside places in the yes, okay. So AMD is going to be interesting, and the market itself is going to be interesting today. Why? Because we have some information. Fed Powell is going to speak, and seems like the market just it does what it does when he gets the microphone, or shortly after he gets the microphone. Sometimes it'll wait to after, and we feel the after effects of that. So I would say trade carefully. And then with the assassination attempt with our former president, so yeah, it's going to be an interesting day. So we do have some inside day candles. Amazon is one of those, right? So if Amazon breaks above the 196.53, then the target would be here at the $200.34. If it breaks under 193.76, which it looks like we've already made a low of 193.35. If it breaks under this area again, 193.76, then 192.76 is the target for Amazon. And Amazon normally moves about $4.55 per day, again in either direction, right? It could move up or down in either direction. So Coinbase was an inside day candle. And y'all, as you can see, we have already gapped up from that place. The trigger was 221.99. We've reached 232.56. So it has already reached the target to the upside. I would definitely watch Coinbase if I traded that. And if I'm not mistaken, it moves about $10.46 per day, right? So are we going to continue to the upside? We very well can. So if by chance it decides to come back to the downside under this 214, well, it really needs to come back under 221.99. So under 221.99, it will need to come back and retest, the 214.59, which will give us a target of 213.26. Now, again, just because it moved up pre-market does not mean we cannot come back and reach those targets. I say that often. Trade what you see and do not rush into your trades. Microsoft is also an inside day. Let's make sure. Yes, Microsoft is an inside day candle. And let's see. We are, Microsoft is already down at, Microsoft was an inside week candle. Let me rephrase that. So I would say if I traded Microsoft, it normally moves about, let's see, $7.22 per day, and it is an inside day candle. If it breaks above this area of 466.50, then the target to the upside would have been 467.46. Now, if it breaks under 458.75, then the target to the downside for today is 457.86. Now, it is an inside day for today, and it is an inside week, which is a weekly candle also. So again, if it breaks above this 467.46, then the target to the upside for the week is 468.35. If by chance we break under this 457.86, then the weekly target is 445.48. 538. So that's why I was looking at that one a little bit interesting, because it is a daily candle and a weekly candle. So that's something to be mindful for Microsoft. I would say if I traded Microsoft, trade carefully. Now, I did make a video of a lot of inside day. Let me get my words right. Inside day candles for today. If you could, please check that out. But yeah, today again, it's going to be an interesting day, y'all. I always say, do not rush into your trades. Just know that we have economic data coming. I mean, we have the Fed Powell speaking today, so it could go in either direction. Trade what you see. It would not surprise me, in my opinion, to see the SPY back at this area of 555.19. Something stopped the SPY on this day at this area, and because we recovered, came back to the 563 area, right? Let me get that. We came that 563 area and back at this area here of 562.51. We've not reached the 563. However, this could be our trouble place to send us back to the downside. So I'm just saying, and nothing is guaranteed, right, that it wouldn't surprise me to see SPY back at the 555 area. Again, trade what you see, wait on confirmation, and when it goes against your why, get out. Live to trade another day. So I always say, hope that I hope that everyone have a very profitable day today, a very productive day today, y'all. And y'all, I'm so excited today. Life is, we celebrate life today. It's grateful. I'm just grateful to be on this side, right? I always say that. So I always like to leave you with this, y'all. Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.